Hi, I'm Declan, one of the firefighters here at Lowestoft South Fire Station, and I am on White Watch. Welcome to our virtual tour of the fire station. Due to COVID, we can't obviously get you in and get you shown around the place. So what we're going to do is give you a virtual tour of our fire engines and the other appliances we have on station, and show you a bit of the equipment and what we do. First of all, we'll stand on parade on duty. Stand to attention to the boss, who will then tell us what position we're sitting on the fire engine and what jobs we're doing for that shift, whether that be driving the fire engine or wearing the breathing apparatus, or maybe you're the entry control officer who is the manager of the breathing apparatus team if they go in a building. So this is where the boss will sit, and as you can see, our boss is normally the one wearing the white helmet. Also on here is a MDT, or a mobile data terminal, and that gives the boss all the information about the job we're going to. The other person who's sitting in the front is the driver, and he's the one that gets to make all the noise with the sirens and the blue lights. The rest of the crew, we all sit in the back here, and this will be where your BA teams are, which is the breathing apparatus we put on to go inside fires, and the entry control officer will sit in the middle of them to manage that team. So this is the first locker on a fire appliance, and this has got lots of tools in it that we can use for the job. The big red bag you can see there is a big first aid kit, and that's got lots of big plasters and stuff that we can help people who are injured, and it's got oxygen attached in case someone comes out of a fire and we need to help them with a little bit of breathing. The other things we've got here behind me are a big pair of scissors, and that's for cutting people out of cars. So these work because we can cut the roof off, and we can cut the boot off, and we can slide people out, and then we can use a big red bag after we've done that. The locker just behind me to my left has a hose in it. So as you'll see, there's two hoses in there, two types of hose in there. They've got the red fire hose, which everyone probably is the one they picture in. That's what we use outside, when we use it outside the building, or if we're going into a big building, we'd take that inside. But if we were coming to a house, just a normal house on the street, we would use the yellow hose that's on the winder up there, because it's very easy to move about, and it's pretty long, and we can get it up and downstairs no problems at all. So in this locker here at Lowestoft South Fire Station, we're very lucky we have this high powered lance. Now what this can do is it allows us to fight a fire inside from the outside, which is really cool because it keeps us very safe. Now this big high pressured lance behind me can actually go through common building materials, so it can actually go through brick walls, it can go through metal, it can go through almost anything. And what that does is it puts some water into the area and cools it right down so that we can then go in and fight the fire with the yellow hose again, but in a much safer place for us to go and put the fire out. What we also have on this locker are these magical blue lights. Now what these blue lights do is they actually talk to each other. So we have ladders as firefighters, and as you can see, we keep them on the roof of the fire engine. Over this side, we've got two very small ladders. One of them helps us go on roofs and makes it really easy there. In the middle, we've got a big massive ladder. Now that goes really, really high. That can get almost all the buildings in Norfolk and Suffolk. And then on this side, behind me, is a medium-sized ladder, and that's the one that we use most often. Also in the back of the fire engine is where our pump is. Now what a pump does is that allows us to get water to the fire. Now basically, all the red stuff you can see there, the shiny stuff, that's where the water comes out. But in behind there's a big tank. Now that holds 1,800 litres of water. Now to make that easy for you, if you've got a 2 litre bottle of cola, sugar free of course, times that by 900, and that's how much water is in that tank behind there. The three red bits you can see with the black caps in the middle, they're what gives us water to the red hose that you see, and that's brilliant for us because that means there's a lot of water going to be coming out that tank and we're going to be able to put the fire out. But obviously that tank, as I said, is only 900 bottles of cola. So what we've got behind me, the two silver things, is a standpipe key and bar, and what we do with that is we put that in the ground and we get water out of the ground and we can put that in and refill our tank up. So it's like when you've got a tap and you turn on fill up your bath. We do that from the ground with our water and our standpipe key and bar. So this locker behind me here, we have two really good pieces of equipment at the bottom. So the one down there to my right, and it will be your left as you're looking at it, is also another pump, the same as on the back. But what this pump does is it means that we can get water from anywhere. So if we can't get a fire engine around someone's back garden and the fire's in their shed and they happen to have a swimming pool, we can carry this pump round and we can take the water from their swimming pool to put out their shed. It also means that we can take it down little country lanes where we couldn't get to with the fire engine, and it means if there's no water source, so no hydrant that we can use a standpipe key and bar, we can also take that down and take some water out the sea if we need to. And directly behind me on this side is a fan. Now that is just like the fan that your teacher's probably got on her desk. It just blows out all the smoke from buildings and keeps the environment really safe for us, because then we can see better when we're in the smoky buildings. And if we look back to my left, there's a locker that's the exact same as the other side with the hose in it. So what we do have is we have 10 big red bits of hose, and then we have 2 smaller bits on either side as well, so another 4 bits of hose there. And then the same with the yellow one that we take into the buildings. And the locker at the end is our magical garden shed on the fire engine. It's got a bit of tools for everything. We can do almost any job with the end locker, whether that be anything like a rescue from height, or if we just need to cut holes in something, we've got a tool on there that will do that. Also on our fire engine we carry something that you might have seen around your school. We carry these fire extinguishers. Now the ones in your school should only be touched by us firefighters or by your teachers. Fire extinguishers can be very dangerous, so please don't play with them or touch them, and just let the professionals do it. So obviously we can't go into fires wearing this because it's not safe. So what we do is we wear some equipment that keeps us really safe and keeps us from getting any burns. The first thing we put on is our steel toe cap fire boots and a pair of leggings. So after we've put on our fire leggings, the next thing we put on is our big fire coat. It's really heavy and it's as thick as 7 normal coats. So after we've got on a fire jacket, what we will then put on is a thing called a smoke hood. So as you can see, our smoke hood is very much like a balaclava, and what this does is it keeps our head safe and our ears from getting burnt. The next thing we put on is our helmet. So this helmet keeps our head really safe, and it stops anything dangerous or hard falling and hurting us. It also goes round the smoke hood nice, and our BA set which comes here. We also have on a helmet visors. So the outer visor protects us really well, and we also have an inner visor which is like a pair of safety specs, and this is great for eye protection. The next thing we put on is a pair of gloves. These are our gloves, and like all other gloves, they keep our hands warm, but they also stop our hands from getting too warm. They don't allow the fire to burn our hands, and they keep us nice and safe so that we're able to use the hoses to put the fire out. Other things that we use when we go to a fire call are things such as torches, which I have one in my helmet. And this is great if you're in as a BA team, because you just move your head whatever way you want to look and you can see what's in front of you. We also have a handheld torch which we keep here, and this is great because we can use our torch on our head to keep looking forward while using our hand to point this one round to scan and see if we can see any casualties. The last thing we need is a radio, which we keep here. Now this radio is one of the most important things that we have, as this allows us to communicate with each other and keep each other safe. So one other important piece of equipment we've got is a thermal image camera. Now what this allows us to do is it allows us to see through fire and smoky buildings like the one behind me. The one behind me is a training building, and what we're going to do is we're going to go inside and show you how this thing works. Another really cool feature of a thermal image camera is we have a laser, and that laser helps us point out things, maybe a casualty, maybe someone's pet, and it helps us locate them and get them out of the burning buildings. Here at Lowestoft South Fire Station, we're really lucky. We've got 2 fire engines. The one here with fire written on the front is the one that we'll take to all our incidents that involve a fire, whether that be someone's house is on fire, if someone's work is on fire. And then this one here, with rescue written on the front, is what we'll take to all specialist rescues, whether that be cutting someone out of a car accident, or maybe a rope rescue if someone's fallen down a ditch. And we also go to animal rescues, which is the third vehicle further along. So this vehicle here is what we use for our animal rescues. This is known as a Unimog. So what this vehicle does have is a big crane attached to the back, and we can use that to lift horses and cows out of ditches. And we also have lots of tools on here that help us with other animals such as deers and stuff that may get stuck in the broad marshes. Also here at Lowestoft South Fire Station, we have a boat which we can use for flood rescues or rescues on the Broads. Also, if you look just over my shoulder there is a big pod, and we use that because we can fill it up with water and attach it to the back of the Unimog, our animal rescue vehicle, and we can actually use that pod of water for food fires, especially in the summer when it gets really hot and you've got to put on all your suntan lotion. We use that pod behind us to go onto fields using the big tractor vehicle and put the fires out there. So when someone calls 999 and asks for the fire service, they go through to one of our control operators. What they'll do is ask some really important questions like where the person is, so their address and what the incident is, whether that be a fire, a car accident or an animal rescue. What they'll then do is within 30 seconds they'll send us a note to a printer telling us all that information, and they'll alert us by using the lights and the sounders so that we know we've got a job. And then within a minute we get into our kit and we respond out them doors. Thanks for watching our virtual tour of Lowestoft South Fire Station. If you're at home or when you get home, have a look out for a smoke alarm and get it tested. At Suffolk, we test it Tuesday.